Hello my friends and welcome to Paulina Art. Today I'm going to be talking about using a limited color palette, and we're going to create this fall scene that, as you can see, it has oranges and greens and browns, and those are all colors that I've created from my limited color palette. The benefits of a limited palette is that your composition will have a lot of harmony, such as this one, because all the colors are created from your source colors. The best way to create a limited palette is to start with primary colors, blue, red, yellow, plus black and white. Now, a limited palette doesn't mean a boring palette. You can use interesting colors, such as these three that create a nice pastel. You can have a bright pink instead of red. You can have this soft daffodil yellow and maybe this beautiful ocean blue. If you want a deeper palette, you can choose something like this, a black cherry for your red. This one is true blue, which is a nice deep blue, and maybe a yellow ochre, which will make a beautiful palette. Now, for this composition, I'm going to use just basic, straightforward primary colors. And the colors I'm using, my yellow is school bus yellow. My red is an engine red. My blue is ink spot. For black is licorice, and my white is vintage white. I usually prefer a softer white than a straight titanium white. So the first color we're going to mix is our background. And in this forest, I want the outer part to be darker and the center to be lighter. This is going to be the focus. So I'm simply going to mix a beautiful blue gray for my background, picking up some of my white, a little bit of my blue, some black. It's okay to use black as long as you use it in moderation. Now this, I think, let's test it. I like it. I think it needs a little bit more blue. Okay, we're gonna go, actually it still needs more blue. Let's check the color. Yeah, that's what we want. Now I'm going to show you how to use a sponge too. I use a lot of sponges to create my backgrounds. It's a very easy, quick, effortless way of doing them. We want our darker on the parameters, so we're going to go ahead and apply it just as easy with a sponge. Very quick. This is going to be a very quick demonstration on how to use primary colors. We're going to do the ground here, where, as you can see, I'm moving my sponge in a different way. We're going to add a little bit more white to create the center of our composition in a lighter blue. There we go. Some of the dark in here. The sponge blends everything beautifully. My phone is ringing. Somebody's phone is ringing. Okay, we're going to add a little bit more white into the center. I want it to be even lighter. There we go. I think I like that better. Now we're going to add a nice dark green on the outside of our forest, and to do that I'm going to mix some blue and some yellow. I find it easier to have a second plate to mix all my colors. Now I want a deep dark green, so it's going to have more blue in it. There we go. I think I like that one. And we're going to pick up our sponge now, the other side of the sponge, and we're going to do the outer part of our forest. And this is going to be just as easy. We're just going to start adding our green like that. There we go. And we're going to add a little bit of greenery in here. And some in here. You can see some bushes behind our trees. And even that is already starting to look pretty. This could be a forest during the summer months, but for the purpose of this exercise, we want it to be a fall. Okay, we're gonna draw some trees in there, and I'm gonna mix a nice brown color with red, and we can use green to mix brown to create a nice brown as well. We already have our green, and we're going to add a little bit of water. We're going to start creating our trees. In order to create some depth, we are going to make the bigger ones in here. I'm using acrylic paper, by the way, for this exercise, and this is why it's taped to my wooden easel. That way I avoid the paper getting all curled up with the paint. We're trying to create some depth in the forest. I'm not trying to duplicate exactly what I did that one, which I did a couple of days ago for the purpose of this video, but I'm just trying to create something similar. As we get into the lighter, we want our trees to be a little bit of a lighter color. The tree trunks, we want them a little bit lighter to give this painting more perspective. As they get closer to us, they get darker, but as they go into the forest, they're going to get lighter as they get closer to the light source. Using a limited palette will give your painting more harmony. Sometimes we use too much color, which sometimes it can make our paintings look a little chaotic, unless of course that's what we're looking for. If we want to create more of a chaotic composition for an abstract or something, we can definitely throw the colors, but your paintings will look more professional if you use a limited palette. I want some nice trunks in the back. There we go. Okay, now I want to add a little bit of warmth. We're going to start transforming this forest into a fall forest by mixing some of our yellow with our green. We want to create a lighter, much lighter green, because during the fall we have some orange colors as well as very warm yellows. And to do that, we're going to use our sponge again. We're going to pick a cleaner sponge, and we can start adding a little bit of greenery in there. In there, we're going to add some. We're going to start warming up our painting. Can add some. We're going to try to do warmer towards the center and darker as we go out, just to create that depth we're looking for. There we go. Now we're going to add some orange using our yellow and a little bit of red. We slowly mix our colors, make sure it's what we like. Let's pick up some with our sponge. Our sponge is going to do all the work for us in this composition. And add some nice color in there. Some in here on our path to the light, in our trees. On our trees that are to the edge, we are going to add some warmth as well. But because it's the darker part of the forest, we are going to use red. I'm going to use our red. There we go. Look at the life that is in this painting already. I'm going to add a little bit of red in there. And here. But using a limited palette, you also get not only harmony, but you also make your paintings really exciting by using your primary colors. Combine, creating reds, and well, you're not creating the red, but your greens and reds, they create a beautiful contrast. Okay, we're going to darken up our tree trunks, because that's how acrylic is all about. We build our color. We're going to add a little bit of black with our red to create a darker brown for the trees in the front. These trees are closer to us, so they need to be darker. We're going to start creating some of this movement. We want a lot of movement on our branches, on our tree trunks. I think I'm going to switch to this round brush that is a little bit old, and I think it's going to give me a more rounder effect, which I'm looking for. I don't want them to be so sharp. An acrylic painting is all about building the color. Many, many layers will make your composition a lot more interesting. There we go. We're going to leave the ones at the in there lighter to create the depth that we're looking for in this forest. See, it's already starting to have a lot of depth. I'm going to switch to a liner, my Rosemary liner brush, which I love. We're going to do some of the branches up here. Create some movement in our trees. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of yellow to our trees. So to show that the light is coming from the center. Because the light is coming from this area, we're going to add a little bit of yellow highlight in some of our trees there. It's okay to put your fingers on the paint. It's an easier way to blend. These ones we don't want to add a lot of yellow, just a little bit, because they're more in the darkness. Okay, for the ones on the front, we're going to add actually some white to create even more of a feeling of light in here. Some on the branches too. Can add some branches a little bit lighter like that. Some highlight at the bottom. See how it's starting to have a lot more dimension this way. That's beautiful. For our trees on the back, I don't want them so dark, so I'm going to add some red. We're going to add some beautiful red in some spots. In here. Just to add some more reflection of the trees, the leaves. What else do we want to do? I like it so far. Let's add some more orange. And this is how you play with your colors. You see where do you need more, where do you need less, what colors, but all coming from your basic palette. I like this orange, let's see. Yeah, I think this needs a little bit more orange. Now, if you want the trees in the front to have the leaves of the trees to show more, you can use a sponge such as this one that will create a slightly different effect. Or more like chunks. It could be leaves on the ground. Gives the effect more of that leaves fell in there. Well, we can go ahead and add some in here. They look larger because the tree's closer to us. Let's add some red in there. Let's have fun with our painting. Oh, how pretty that looks. Another thing you can do is grab a toothpick and maybe add some lines if the paint is still wet. This is on acrylic paper and it dries really quickly. I'm going to pick up this brush and I'm going to add some yellow in here, maybe some grass growing here. Maybe a little bit of green. Let's pick up our green. There's some green around here. And that's starting to look like a beautiful forest. Another thing you can do if you add some more light in this area is you can pick up a little bit of white, and some yellow. Create a nice color. Maybe just add some dimension like this, like the sun is shining in there. Okay, you can add some with your brush as well. Maybe on the back. Anything that you feel will add dimension to your painting. Maybe we'll add a little bit more yellow to our trees in here. We're going to come to an end pretty soon on this video because I don't want to make it super long. I just want you to have an idea how you can use a limited palette to make beautiful compositions that have a lot of harmony. You don't have to spend so much money on paint either. If you buy a few primary colors, you can create all your other colors. It's challenging and it's fun to use a palette, a limited palette. I'm always challenging myself and trying to use less and less color just to see how far I can go and how beautiful my composition can turn out. And with this, my friend, I'm going to come to an end with this video. I hope you have fun painting, and if you like this video, you know what to do. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.